Nancy Cordes is in West Palm Beach, where Clinton delivered her victory speech last night. Nancy, Clinton did quite well, even better than her campaign expected. What were the keys to her victories, do you think?
Well, here in Florida and in North Carolina, she turned out the African-American vote, as she typically does. She turned out the Hispanic vote here in Florida and older voters here in Florida as well. In the Midwest, you're right, that was kind of a surprise to the Clinton campaign. They were very worried that Bernie Sanders would sweep all three states. The Clinton campaign says that after her surprise loss in Michigan, she really sharpened her economic message, and they think that that worked in her favor in the Midwest, where trade is clearly a dominant issue. They also argue, I'm not sure how much stock to put in this, that Bernie Sanders went a bit more negative this week because the stakes were so high, and they think that that hurt him. But, you know, I also think that the fact that she had that loss in Michigan kind of woke some of her supporters up who thought that she was on this inexorable march to the nomination. And they realized that she does still have a bunch of primaries that she needs to win. And so anyone who was getting complacent and thought perhaps they didn't need to get out of the primaries got a bit of a reminder that this race is still going on.
That's surprising for Clinton, but kind of disappointing, of course, coming off that Michigan win for Bernie Sanders. There are a number, though, of series and primaries, caucuses out west coming up. What is Bernie Sanders expected to do in those western states now?
He's expected to do very well in those caucuses. Both campaigns acknowledge that. The reason, Jamie, that he tends to do well in caucuses is because caucuses reward the most enthusiastic supporters. They reward the candidate whose supporters are the most fired up. And that's because it takes a lot of commitment to get out in caucus. It's not just, you know, walking into a booth and pulling a lever and you're done in 5 minutes. They often take 2 hours out of your day. So Bernie Sanders, who I think objectively does have the supporters who are the most enthusiastic, the most fired up about his candidacy, will probably do well in the West. The challenge for him, though, is doesn't really matter. You know, if he pulls off big victories in smaller states like Idaho and Utah and Hawaii, he still can't get anywhere close to Hillary Clinton in the delegate count. He says that he will do well in bigger states coming up, like California, like New York, but Hillary Clinton already has a lead over him just in pledged delegates that's much larger than anything President Obama ever had over her in 2008.
You know, I remember when this whole thing started, there was a lot of talk about how Hillary Clinton, you know, needs candidates, other candidates that can challenge her because it will eventually make her a better candidate. At this stage in the game, though, I'm wondering if, you know, she would like to see Bernie Sanders just sort of go by the wayside. But are there reasons why perhaps the Clinton camp might not want Sanders to drop out?
Oh, sure. You know, there are 7 months before the general election, and if she can focus on a fight with Sanders rather than a full-on fight with Donald Trump right now, I think that they believe that that could be less damaging to her in the long run, because that is going to be a very bitter, could be a very ugly fight, and there's plenty of time to have it. So, you know, Sanders isn't treating her with kid gloves. He's certainly plenty critical out on the campaign trail, but it's still not as personal and not as nasty as what could be coming her way if she starts to take on Trump in a very direct way. So Sanders kind of serves as a bit of a foil for her. And also, Sanders goes after Trump on the campaign trail just as much as she does. So at times it's sort of a 2-against-1 effect that she will lose if she's no longer running against him. Sure, he may get behind her if he drops out, and he may campaign for her, but it's not going to have the same impact as if he is a bona fide candidate in this race.
All right, Nancy Cordes, thank you very much.
You're welcome.